Yes, Kapil Mittal, quickly drawing you into the conversation as well. All eyes, of course, on the FM today. She will be leaving her residence very, very shortly for the Finance Ministry. The budget presentation, of course, expected at 11 a.m. today. Kapil, what are you expecting in terms of announcements and mentions by the Finance Minister?
So, as Mr. Jacob rightly said, this is an interim budget. So we did not expect, means we are not expecting anything, some huge or a big announcement kind of stuff from Madam FM. But the point is, there are few areas where Madam FM should come forward and give some benefit to at least to the individual and to salary class person specifically who are currently struggling with their taxation and all, because in the last budget we see that they have made the new tax regime more beneficial to the individual. But currently if we see from a broader perspective, then we saw most of the salaried employees or individuals are coming in the old tax regime. So Madam FM should focus on that area, that how they can give more benefit to the individuals. So apart from this, we see that there is very good amount of increment in the number of ITR filed. Last year it was in March 2022, it was around 7.5 crore. Now in March 23, it was around 8 crore 20 lakh something ITR was filed. But the number of taxpayers who are supposed to pay tax has not been increased much. You can see number of ITR has been increased so much, but number of actual taxpayer has not been increased. So there, Madam also need to focus how these need to be strengthened. What are the areas where they need to be focused? But along with that, as we all know, this is kind of a political budget, and focus would be to capture most of the individual, including the farmers and some other like MSME, one of the area where Madam FM should focus and should try to give some benefits. Because MSME is the area where we find that MSME is contributing around 30% of the GDP. So that is very important to give some sort of specific benefit to the MSME. They are, as Mr. Jayant was mentioning, that export need to be strengthened and to be increased. In that area, if we see 50% of the total export of India is done by the MSME only. So Madam FM must focus on the individuals, to provide them a specific exemption, like they can increase the tax slab, they can increase the house loan interest, which was a last increase in 2014. So these are the few areas where Madam FM should focus. But yes, because this is an interim budget, we are not expecting much from this budget.
All right. Let me, in fact, though ask you, Kapil, are you expecting, compliance records also to be shared? You're talking about ITR filings, etc. Are you expecting compliance records to also be shared by the Finance Minister on how much compliance has actually, been increased, and the government efforts in making it easy to file income tax, returns and whatnot, and urge people to also do so, has actually led to, impact on ground?
So you can see already the Finance Ministry is working very hard toward this. Earlier, we were getting the ITR forms very late, close to the ITR filing date. But now they have already released the ITR form for the coming financial year. So this gives an indication that ministry is already working toward that area. They are trying to educate people that you need to file ITR or timely, and they are also providing all those sort of information, regular updates. You are getting now times you are getting regular updates that your return is pending. You are supposed to file a return if there are transactions seen in your annual information report or 26A. So those are stuff has already been taken by the government. But the point is, individual need to understand that filing a ITR could be they required at least a professional assistance, because to make that simpler is not an easy, because in India there are variety of components in your salary which you need to calculate, which you need to understand how you can avail the maximum benefit to avoid paying any excessive taxes which you can save from your tax planning. So from that point of view, we feel simplifying the ITR is good, but totally making it for an individual to file it itself is very difficult. And I don't see that would be much possible. But yes, even then they have very much streamlined your ITR. You are getting pre-filled ITR. Most of the information are there already once you have a click over there. So the person who are getting only a salaried income and their Form 60 is matching from all those stuff, then the things are simple. Otherwise, they need some sort of professional assistance at least.
Yes. Dr. Rao, what about the common man? The people you interact with as well on a daily basis. What is a common man's expectations from the interim budget, from the finance minister, from this government? Do you believe they're satisfied? Do you believe a lot of them look forward to the budget? What is a common man's perspective, according to you?
From my interaction with patients on a daily basis, usually in the past, the common man's idea of the budget was that alcohol and tobacco taxes were always being hiked, and various tax slabs they used to look forward and hope that they will go out of the income tax slabs, and most of their earnings will be income tax free, and elders would be hoping that they would be given a tax rebate. These were what people used to keep looking at the budget for. Now, as doctors, we are hoping that if they have been taxing at sin items like
Dr. Rao? Dr. Rao, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost him there. Unfortunately, yes, Dr. Rao, I think we can hear you now. Go ahead.
If we are also hoping, which is very unusual, that anyone should be hoping that a tax is increased. We are hoping that the taxes are increased on junk food, like what England has done, so that people are more encouraged to go for healthy foods. And as far as millets is concerned, which we are hoping that the government will encourage millet production. It will improve the nutrition. It will reduce the water demand for crop like rice. And for all of you sitting in Delhi, you could hope that if the Punjab farmers switch from rice to millets that they were growing in the past, this Pareli burning issue and the air pollution and the health hazards will also decrease. So on the nutrition front, we are also hoping that millets and healthy foods are encouraged, and unhealthy foods like junk foods are taxed higher.
Okay.
So this is the only addition. I will have to now
right.
sign
Let me
off.
also quickly ask you, Jayant Krishna, about since you are also someone who very closely looks at India-US relations as well. As far as foreign companies, foreign entities who want to invest in India are concerned, who want to make in India are concerned, who want to do more business in India are concerned, what do you believe should be done for them? What has the government already done, and what perhaps would you expect them to do to further ease of doing business in the years ahead?
So, while politically and diplomatically, the relationship of India and US is at one could say all-time high, or it's actually at a very, very good level. But, it is unfortunately not translating as much into numbers, while some of the big ticket announcements like the Reliance investment earlier in telecom space, or if you look at the semiconductor announcements, if you look at some of Apple's plan to have leverage India as a big time manufacturing destination rather than laying all eggs in the Chinese basket, I think these have been very, very encouraging. But otherwise, last year, are actually the entire FDI India was getting from the US had actually taken a bit of a dip. So I think that has to be looked at very, very seriously. And also with the GE aircraft, manufacturing plants in India, they need to be fast tracked. I think these kind of things are very, very important. And as I keep saying, that India sometimes keeps its import duties very high, probably to encourage the domestic manufacturers, but it does become some kind of artificial measures to protect the domestic industry, which doesn't help it move up the value chain and enhance its quality standards and become internationally competitive. So I think these are very, very important, and especially from a US-India perspective, I think, as I said, earlier as well, or did indicate at least that our basically trade to GDP ratio has to go up. It had become very low couple of years earlier, but now it is going to showing some upward trend. But I think the fundamental issue is many in our country do not believe that trade growth can also contribute big time to the GDP growth. I think that's very, very important. And as I said earlier, that US investors, or for that matter, investors from any major economy in the world, would expect some kind of a regulatory certainty in the country, which I see happening now. But I think there has to be a greater certainty that these people experience, and that when they decide to invest, that those rules of the game shouldn't change going forward, and there has to be an ongoing, almost on a war footing. I think we have to work on ease of doing business. While wherever transactions have become electronic, online, there a lot of improvements have happened. But where there's a human-to-human interface between industry, US industry, or for that matter, industry from anywhere in the world, or even domestic with people in the government, that hasn't improved as much. While in the top, at the minister level, at the secretary level, there have been improvement, but at the operative level, that red tape, and reported corruption, I think those kind of things need to be removed altogether. And we, as we have become the fourth largest economy, our ease of doing business ranking also must skyrocket to become at least among the top 10. I think that's very, very important. And if that happens, then the lot of the kind of friendship that you see between India and the US at the political and diplomatic level, I think that will also translate to in terms of economy, in terms of business and trade, and so on and so forth.
Jacob, Krasta, quickly drawing you in over here on industry as well. Corporate India, industry bodies, what are their expectations? From your interactions, from what you've heard, what are their expectations from the interim budget, of course, today, and also perhaps what they will expect, the measures to be set in place for the years ahead, for the next government to perhaps implement?
As you know, see, out of the 6.3 crores of MSME, see, 95% of the MSMEs are, say, micro, and major employment is in the micro, and the small is only 4% and only 1% is medium. Whereas now, as per the present population, we have, say, 49.9% of women, almost 50% of women. So probably this Nari Shakti is going to be a huge transformation, and women workers are going to be a easy task is going to happen now, where that is the aim of our Prime Minister Modi, where more and more women employment takes place. So the society improves, and the money in the hands is going to come. And another point is income tax slab. So income tax slab, especially for middle class workers, is high, very high. So if the money is given in the hands of workers, so they are going to spend, the GST is going to increase. So that is the point of view wherein the taxation has to be reduced, especially the income tax slab. So income tax slab, as probably we expect to increase, say the present slab to at least 5 lakhs rupees exemption, whereby workers will have more money in their hands. And especially MSME, as I rightly told you, major challenge is the finance. So the finance, the credit, if it is given, that is going to be really boom for MSME. And another point is PLI, the production link incentive. Production link incentive is available only for a few manufacturers and few items and the products. Whereas if the on par with all MSMEs, rather not MSME, micro and small manufacturers, for all products, if the PLI is given, probably that $5 trillion economy, we reach another 2 years instead of 3 years. So more and more micro and small units will take the credit and put their all efforts to have a better revenue and better employment generation, especially women. So everything will be solved by giving the PLI to especially for micro and small. So this is what the presentation we are given to Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on side of the industry.
Yes, and now Raju Sinha, quickly drawing you back in here. Now, since it is, of course, an interim budget, are you expecting more than announcements, certain outlays, certain perhaps spending limits and projections to be also laid out today? At the end of the day, any government would want, as I was saying earlier, good headlines in an election year. Do you expect perhaps outlays, grants to be increased in certain key sectors where the government wants to communicate its interest in, or its focus areas on, or its thrust areas on, for the public, for the electorate as well?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. So the expectation is.
Yes, please go ahead, Raju. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly. Raju Sinha, can you hear me? Okay, I think we're having a trouble there with Raju Sinha's connection. Unfortunately, we will try and get him back in just a second. But Jacob Craster, would you like to take that on what perhaps the focus, the thrust areas could be in terms of these expenditure allowances, in terms of these grants and outlays, which perhaps the government can increase to get good headlines as well tomorrow morning?
Yeah, definitely it has to be. See, more and more expenditure side has to be given a focus. Then there is a GST collection will be increased. Now today the GST collection on average 1.66 lakhs crore, where more facilities are given for the expenditure side and the outlay. Say for example, better employment generation, so better facilities for MNREGA, where rural area has been improved, and infrastructure facilities. So these are the things where the more and more expenditure goes. And as you know, the last year for infrastructure alone, say 9.5 lakhs of crores been budgeted, and especially in defense and infrastructure, education. These are the areas where outlays has to come. Whereas it may be an interim budget, but probably it looks like it's going to be a populist budget, because now when you see that budget has been announced, so it becomes a populist budget and it helps for election. So if the Karnataka has come to power by Congress by giving that 5 guarantees, and this is one example where if you give more kudos and facilities for especially the voters, you get better votes. So that is actually been known by the example of Karnataka. Probably same way, the central government also, by keeping the fiscal prudence in line, because we are getting the better GST collection, we are getting the better income tax collection, and we have the current account deficit also has been improved. So we have also maintained the fiscal prudence. So probably we can give in the interim budget itself this kind of layout and expenditure in this budget, so that it will become a populist budget and you get the vote.
Yes, absolutely. Let me take that back across to Dr. Okay, I think we've lost Dr. Rao, but Kapil Mittal, let me quickly draw you back in here also now. Kapil, on of course certain other interest areas as well, from AI, artificial intelligence, to EV, which again is something of the future. From AI to EV, to other, aspects of the future, clean energy, ethanol and other clean, energy mechanisms. What do you believe perhaps the government can speak about these areas, which are areas of the future now, which are areas that India also has, of course, been adopting, but must continue to in the years ahead as the world also moves towards this?
So you rightly taken this topic that clean energy is very important from India perspective also. We all are living in Delhi NCR and we see the air quality index is very high, whether it is summer or winter. Means the this is very important where government need to focus. And in the last few months or earlier also, we see that government is now focusing on the clean energy, and now that's why they are focusing on solar stuff also. So you must have heard rooftop solar, which they have recently brought up, and they are providing much subsidy. And PM Modi itself announced that they are going to have that solar panels on the government. At least housing societies and all. So government is focusing over there, but along with that, because as Mr. Jayat has rightly said, ease of doing business is there in the records, upper level, medium level officers understand those, but the clerical staff who are doing all those work are not understanding all those stuff. So those are facing some challenges. We saw there are good foreign investor coming into India, but due to not having that ease of doing business, they are facing challenges. India is actually facing challenges where we see artificial intelligence, where they need to work more, because artificial intelligence is an area through which you can ease any task, provided you take care of that the personal stuff or the personal information has not been taken in a wrong direction. So government are focusing on this area, but still, because they in the last budget we see that they were spending 45 lakh crore. In this budget we see it will be something around 49 to 50 lakh crore, or for doing all those expenditure, they it seems to be that they have to take some gross market borrowing of 15 to 16 lakh crore. So due to this, there seems to be some challenges, and because this is a political budget, their focus is to get votes from individuals and all. So we are not expecting much in this budget, but yes, maybe in the full budget in June or July we will see all those stuff. But yes, currently government is focusing on clean energy. They are trying to make some efforts to provide EV to the individual, but currently we see the EV quality is not as per the standard. We regularly seeing that the electric scooter or vehicles are getting fire and all. So these areas need to be strengthened. They need to strengthen the standard and the testing mechanism, so that these area could be strengthened more, and there should be some kind of they are allowing Tesla to come now. We see this should be fastened, which Mr. Jayant was mentioning.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me take that back to Jayant Krishna as well. Jayant Krishna, the fact also, of course, is that, okay, I think we've lost Jayant. Kapil, why don't I take that to you on, on also the election year. As you were just saying, of course, a lot of things will be for votes simply. It is an election year. And interestingly, there is going to be this perception battle as well, this optics battle as well. In fact, yesterday on the first day of Parliament, PM Modi has already said, we will form government and we will present a full budget after the general elections 2024.
So, as an Indian citizen, or after seeing the popularity of Mr. Modi, we don't find any gap as such that they are not going to have the seat of that PM again. But the point is how many seats he would be getting, how many seats and how majority they will be getting to implement any positive change to the economy. Because when you are trying to make any positive change with the best effort, you need a complete majority and a very good amount of majority, so that you would not find any hurdle over there.
Absolutely.
So in that area, we see there could be some major announcement with respect to individuals, farmers, and some kind of affordable housing and all.
Okay.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.